Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease.
What is going on, guys? And in this video I'll be giving you my UFC Vegas 63 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, October 29, 2022. Kattar versus Allen. Looking forward to the main event of this card. There might be some good finishes on this card. They've got some heavyweight fights, and Rountree fighting Jacoby. There could be a finish there. Tim Means versus Max Griffin is a pretty solid fight night, I would say. It's not nothing crazy, but I do think it's one of the, probably going to be one of the better fight nights, at least for one of these cards that seems a little bit random. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first fight. In the first fight on the main card, we have Dustin Jacoby taking on Khalil Rountree Jr., a light heavyweight bout. 18-5-1, 11-5, and 1 no contest for Rountree. Jacoby coming in with a little bit more, a lot more fights, or a little bit more fights, and then Jacoby probably coming in with the better stand-up, being a little bit more well-rounded with his stand-up, not overly aggressive like Rountree can get, and get a little bit wild and drop his defense. Although credit to Rountree, because I think Rountree is obviously improving, and not necessarily improving like he's doing anything too different. It's more of him just slowing shit down a little bit. Like, he's choosing to definitely slow things down, and I think that's a great thing for him, because Rountree is always going to be dangerous with the power. He's always going to cause an issue with that. But if he can't get someone out of there, it's a little bit scary, because then he starts to gas out. When you start throwing all these haymakers and things, you're going to get gas out when the other guy's able to survive, and then he's going to start picking you apart, and that's where the problem is going to be. And so I feel like the first round could be like a little bit of a feel out thing. Rountree, if he's fighting smart, I don't think he's going to rush in there on him. He may go for some things here and there, but I do think one of these guys is going to get finished. I really don't see a decision happening, because I think Rountree would get tired and then Jacoby could take over, or it's going to be the opposite, where Rountree drops a bomb in on him and puts him down, and then is able to just absolutely tee off on him. So yeah, I don't really see a decision happening. A little sketch to go with Rountree, but man, he's one of these guys where you're like, Jacoby, he's going to go in there, he's going to fight the distance game, he's going to land the better shots, he's going to tire him out, he might even get him in the clinch, start elbowing him, drain his energy, and then as the fight goes on, he's going to just tee off on him in the third round and get a TKO, and then next thing you know, Rountree comes out and just absolutely just like one-shot KOs him, or whatever it is, right? And you're just like, God damn it. Like, you can see how both guys can win, and it's just like disappointing when you pick the wrong guy and then that guy gets absolutely like crushed or something in like the one way where he was gonna do it. And I believe Rountree is the underdog too, so credit to both fighters. I can definitely see Jacoby winning, and obviously Rountree, but I'm gonna go Khalil Rountree on this one. I want to see if he can put together a solid win streak, 3 wins. See what else he's improving on, see if he's slowing it down even more, and then this is a good striker to do it against. You're fighting a guy on a win streak, and so yeah, let's see what happens. I can see why Jacoby's a favorite, but I'm gonna go Rountree. I'm gonna take Khalil Rountree Jr. to defeat Dustin Jacoby. I'll take him to win by round 2 KO TKO. In the second fight on the main card, we have Josh Fremd taking on Tresean Gore in a middleweight bout. 9-4 for Fremd, and then 4-2 for Gore. And so this is a fight where I'm looking at it and you're thinking, like, am I missing something here? Because Gore, I don't think he's it. Like, I really just don't think he's at the level for UFC right now. And you look at someone like Fremd, who came in short notice, 10-day notice against Anthony Hernandez. He lost a unanimous decision, but he was able to chain together some submissions in there. He went for it. He landed some pretty good shots on his feet. he did get taken down 8 times, but he also defended some takedowns. And I mean, like, he was getting grinded out in that fight, but like, he took the fight on 8 days. I would say he gave it his all, man. Like, there was definitely some moments where he reversed some things, landed some pretty decent shots on his feet, pretty good knees in the clinch. He also has good submission defense. I don't know if he's gonna have to really worry about submissions in this fight, like getting submitted or anything like that. I don't think Gore is gonna be diving in for takedowns like that. Fremd's stand up too, I think, is a less dependent on like one-shotting someone, whereas Gore is gonna try to probably go in there and take his head off. But Fremd could piece him up, find the counters off those big shots, and then put him down. And obviously, Fremd coming into this fight with a full camp versus coming into his last fight against pretty tough competition in Anthony Hernandez, who's going to grind you out, try to grind you out and all that. Like, Fremd's going to come into this fight, I think he might even look better, right? And it would have been interesting to see what Fremd would have been able to do against Anthony Hernandez on a full camp, like if he was actually training for him. So for Gore's coming into this fight, 2 losses, unanimous decision loss against Brian Battle. Just kind of got outclassed. He did land 2 takedowns in that fight, but on the striking, it was just, he just didn't look good in my opinion. He's a little bit too reliant, and then he starts to get a little bit tired. Get a little bit tired in there. Against Cody Brundage, in his last fight, he lost KO/TKO around number 1. Just got absolutely destroyed in that fight. He was kind of landing some pretty good shots, and then his defense, it seems a little bit exposed, and I think that's how Brundage was able to catch him in that one. I think Fremd's gonna be the better striker. I think Fremd's gonna be going forward more than Gore, and if he's gonna get in his face and he's gonna be able to overwhelm him, that's gonna be a problem on the feet. And then let's say Gore shoots in for a takedown. Well, I think Fremd might even be able to submit him. I think Fremd might be maybe even able to counter him, reverse the position, and get his own takedown. Next thing you know, this dude's on top, crushing him. And it could just be one of those things where Gore dives in for a takedown just because he's getting absolutely crushed, and then Fremd grabs a hold of him and submits him. So, I mean, Gore is just not one of these guys. Maybe we see something different. Maybe he doesn't headhunt. Maybe he tries to mix it up a little bit better. But I just think Fremd looked really good for 10 days notice in his previous fight. And I don't see why he can't win here in this fight. I think he's probably going to be far better. Probably the more mixed martial artist in this one as well. And he's dangerous, man. Fremd is dangerous. Don't look at his last fight like, he got his ass beat or whatever. He got taken down 8 times. Yeah, but I wouldn't say he looked like trash. And he gave Hernandez one hell of a fight. So I'm going to go Josh Fremd on this one. I just don't think Tresean Gore's there. Unless I guess maybe he gets lucky and KOs him with a couple of shots, but I think Fremd's gonna be able to tear him apart here. So I'm gonna go Josh Fremd on this one. I'll take it a win against Tresean Gore, round 2, submission. And then in the third fight on the main card, we have Waldo Cortes-Acosta 7-0 taking on Jared Vanderaa 12-9. So this is an interesting fight. It's one of those heavyweight where you just go into a bar and everyone starts fighting each other because both guys are going to throw down. Both guys are going to swing those haymakers, gas out, something like that, right? You're going to see that. Obviously, with Acosta, it's a little bit concerning Cortes-Acosta is a little bit concerning because he's coming in here making his UFC debut off of the Dana White Contender Series. But then at the same time, when you look at Vanderaa, he's coming off 4 losses, and 3 of them by finishes, and then 1 by a split decision against Andrei Arlovski. And his last fight, the last one he won by a finish was his first fight against Harry Hunsucker on Dana White Contender Series, and then he beat Justin Toffa via decision. So neither of these guys, I don't see Cortes-Acosta competing for a title or anything like that. Not with the style that he fights. I mean, I don't really think that style gets too far anymore in the heavyweight division. The top level guys, you just have to start adding different things, whether it's takedown defense, your own takedowns. You have to add a little bit more than the pure knockout stuff is gonna get you only so far. but it will do for maybe like your first couple fights, right? And so for Cortes-Acosta, I mean, he could go out here and just get absolutely destroyed after he like throws too many things and gets clipped, or his defense goes out the window, and then next he's getting like just taken down or something. Like, who knows, right? Like, it could be one of those things where like Vanderaa like never going for a takedown or something, and then like this fight he decides to just take him down and then he wins the decision or something like that. Or Cortes could just be overly aggressive and just get classically dropped because now he gets wildly countered or something like that. But I did like what I saw with Cortes in the Dana White Contender Series. I think he looked fairly decent. Obviously for Cortes-Acosta, he's gonna have to win this fight if he wants to go anywhere. And then for Jared Vanderaa, I'm pretty sure if he loses this fight, it's probably going to be it, unless they need, heavyweights to fill the roster or whatever. So for Vanderaa, I would just try to hang in there early on, show him why, right? Show him that, like, yeah, man, I've only won twice in the UFC, but I at least know how to, like, get this fight further than one round or something like that. And then maybe he can test Cortez's, maybe he can test, like, his durability and his cardio. I will say this, though, Cortes-Acosta in his fight in the Dana White Contender Series was pretty interesting because I think he looked a little bit like in the very beginning he was throwing like really good straight punches. He wasn't like a classic like haymaker kind of guy. He started to get a little haymakery when he sensed that like he was gonna win the fight, but early on he wasn't getting too sloppy. He doesn't seem like one of these guys who's just gonna go out there and drop his hands and just start swinging overhands and then get clipped or something. Like, he seems a little bit more put together. So, and like I said, man, if you're gonna come in here, you got to be beating Jared Vanderaa. So yeah, I'm gonna go Cortes-Acosta on this one. It's a heavyweight fight, and it's not top tier heavyweight fight, so anything can happen. But I'll go Cortes-Acosta. I'll take him to defeat Jared Vanderaa. I'll take him to win by round 1, KO, TKO. And then move on into the co-main event of the evening, and we have Tim Means taking on Max Griffin. Tim Means coming into this fight with a lot of experience, 32, 13-1, won no contest. And then Max Griffin coming into this fight with an 18-9 record. Both fighters are coming off of a loss. Like I said, for Tim Means, veteran in the game. He's been in the UFC for a while now. And I don't want to say slowly declining, but definitely he hasn't been able to reach that next level, right? He kind of had that opportunity coming off of 3 wins, and then he fights Kevin Holland, and then he gets submitted by Kevin Holland, of all people. When he fought Danny Rodriguez, he got submitted in that fight. Nico Price, he lost that fight. Bilal Muhammad, Sergio Moraes, Alex Oliveira twice, or I guess once technically. When he fought Matt Brown back in the day, Neil Magny, Jorge Masvidal in like his 3rd fight inside the UFC. So he's been around and he's fought like guys that we all know of in that division. But unfortunately, kind of like when he gets that opportunity to take it to that next level so he can get the next opponent, he just is unable to get it done. But he can beat guys up like Nicholas Dalby. He can beat guys up like Mike Perry, for example. Staropoli. But like, it's like, okay, he beat Thiago Alves, right? But like, he's not Thiago Alves isn't inside of the UFC, right? So when you look at someone like Max Griffin, you think like, okay, maybe a little bit of the same thing. But Max Griffin just went split decision with Neil Magny, and it was arguably a fight that he could have won. He defeated Carlos Condit, lost to Alex Oliveira back in 2020, split decision, lost to Alex Morono, unanimous decision. But he's not really, like, he's not getting absolutely crushed, and I don't think he's getting outclassed necessarily. His only fight that he lost by finish inside of the UFC was his very first fight against Colby Covington, which that's one hell of a UFC debut when you gotta fight a guy like Colby Covington. So I don't really credit anything against him, man. I think this is a fight where Tim Means, like a really solid Tim Means, is gonna have the better striking here, right? It's just kind of obvious. Tim Means would probably have the better striking. He has the better boxing. He even has probably the better output of strikes. decent takedown defense. But the problem here is like, I think Max Griffin, especially coming off a fight where, you know, he loses to Neil Magny via split decision. It's the judge thing. Like, he's going to want to go out here and try to get some sort of either dominant decision, or he's going to want to try to finish Tim Means in this fight. And it's something that, like, I'm not sure if he can get a finish. Like, I mean, obviously, I guess he could if he lands one of his, like, right hands. He can drop him or something like that. But I think it's more likely, in my opinion, for him to kind of beat up Tim Means once he starts getting going. Like, once Griffin starts going, maybe he adds in some takedowns here, or he just kind of weighs on Tim Means against the fence while he's going in for his own attack as well. I do think Griffin could honestly work in the grappling. If on the feet, he might be getting picked apart a little bit. He has to be careful because Tim Means can throw some nasty elbows and stuff like that. This dude has pretty good striking. It's just, man, I think if Griffin can put that pressure on him, he can make him crumble, and that's just gonna be too much for Tim Means. But yeah, I mean, whoever wins is kind of like can maybe take it to the next level. I'm not sure if Max Griffin's gonna be like a title contender or anything. I don't think Tim Means is going to be fighting for the title anytime soon or whatever. But I do think, like, whoever can, like, win this fight may be, like, one of those classic gatekeepers that you just have to go through if you want to win anything. So, like I said, man, I think Tim Means, unfortunately, every time he fights someone, he kind of just doesn't get the job done. And it's not just by decision. It's kind of by a finish. Whereas Max Griffin, when he doesn't get the job done, he at least makes the fight a little bit more competitive. It's not so like, oh shit, he got absolutely destroyed kind of thing. Because even against like Alex Morono, right? He 75 significant strikes landed to Morono's 81, and then he was able to get 4 takedowns. And like I said, against Neil Magny, maybe it was more of just Magny being able to land like a takedown and control him on the ground a little bit. But, you know, people thought Max Griffin did more on the feet, so I guess it's not too bad. I think this is a close fight. If it can be a close fight, it would be a close fight, just because Tim Means might just not have it anymore on the feet, whereas Griffin can land the harder shots here and there. But you have to be careful, man. Tim Means can still be nasty, and Tim Means probably could crack him too, but I don't know. I just think Griffin is the younger fighter. He's gonna get in his face, and the fact that he can work in the takedowns too, possibly, I think that'll really help him. So I'm gonna go Max Griffin. I'm gonna take him to defeat Tim Means. I'll take him to win by a decision. And in the main event of the evening, we've got Calvin Kattar taking on Arnold Allen in a featherweight bout. 23-6 for Kattar, and then 18-1 for Allen. And then so for this fight, we've got a really competitive fight. At least I hope it's a competitive fight. You got like a guy who's been in the division, fought every guy like at the top or whatever, and then you have one guy on the come up, 18-1, right, undefeated inside the UFC, coming in here to fight one hell of a boxer. But we don't really know what we're gonna get from Allen, because we really haven't seen him go into those championship rounds. We don't know if like he's getting absolutely crushed on the feet. Can he come back from it? Can he mix in the takedown? Can he do something else? Is he gonna be able to get the decision if he gets pushed, right? We obviously saw him win his last fight. The only concerning thing about that is when he started getting rushed, like he did get clipped, and when he started getting a little bit crazy in there against Dan Hooker. Obviously it's not credited for a knockdown, but he did get clipped for like a moment in that fight, because he did, he saw like he saw his kill and he was like, go in for it, and the next thing he got a little bit, like I said, it's not a knockdown, but he did get clipped because he started getting a little bit crazy. And in a fight like this, like, man, if he clips Kattar, like, we've seen Kattar hurt, obviously, and a lot of people talk about how much damage he's taking, it's over for him, whatever. But I wouldn't count Kattar out on some like some stuff where, like, let's say Kattar does get a little bit rocked, and then next, Allen just comes running in on him, and then boom, spinning back elbow to the dome, and just puts him down, puts him away. and then Kattar's just on top of him, just dropping bombs and KOs him. So I don't think it's like respectful, in my opinion, to be counting out a guy who can just do something like that. And on top of that, Kattar, man, like this dude has some pretty good volume. And like I said before, though, people always say like, you know, how much strikes has he absorbed? And I agree. I mean, his what is it? His significant strikes absorbed is like completely just jacked up because of Max Holloway landing 445 significant strikes on him. And so that's obviously not good. But then he comes back in his next fight against Giga Chikadze, in a guy who, like, even myself, I thought, you know, like, you want to talk about damage, like, this dude's gonna kick him twice and then he's gonna like fall on the floor. But then you saw like Kattar was able to eat some shots and then kind of just start breaking him apart, and then even went for 2 takedowns and was able to get him. Even went for a submission of his own against Giga Chikadze. And that's the thing here, is like, obviously we've seen Arnold Allen, we've seen him fight some pretty good prospects like Sodiq Yusuff. That was a very good win for him, unanimous decision, landed 2 takedowns in that fight. But you don't really see like any of these fights like have anything past like what against Gilbert Melendez, 102 significant strikes landed versus Melendez's 23. But I don't know. I still don't think like any of the guys that Allen has fought are gonna have that like high level striking like Kattar, let alone have takedown defense where Kattar's gonna be able to possibly defend some of these takedowns at least early on, and then hopefully maybe he makes him pay for it, right? I don't deny that Allen can win this fight with just pure pressure, shutting down Kattar, not letting him have that boxing range, just taking all of that away, weighing heavy on him, kind of just not even getting into a wild exchange with him, like a war with Kattar, but just like holding him against the fence, possibly taking him down, and then when he takes him down, he's doing a lot of damage. So for me, I can understand why Allen could win this fight. I obviously don't think Kattar's going to even go in for a takedown, but I'd like to see if Kattar's able to start popping off with his hands, like what we're going to get out of Allen. Like, is he going to want to dive in for the takedown? Is he going to try to just say, hey, man, I can trade with you too? Like, I don't think he's going to do that, because I still think Kattar's going to be like the better striker here. It's just a matter of, and that's the other thing too, is like, what can Allen do to take away the boxing of Kattar? And well, one thing that he could do is obviously take out his legs, because we all know that Kattar stands and he has his legs out there ready to get kicked. And so that'll be something Allen might want to look for, on top of the pressure, on top of the grappling. And yeah, we could very well see like Kattar just get shut down completely and just kind of beat up. Like, it's definitely a thing. But man, like, Calvin Kattar is dangerous, man. Like, I still think he's dangerous, and I still think like it's like, I understand, you know, obviously people are high on Arnold Allen, and there's really no reason not to be high on him. But I don't know. Like, I just think like Kattar, he might not go out here as easy as everyone expects, but I guess maybe he could. It's very possible that Allen just kind of runs over him, KOs him or something like that. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what Kattar's got left in his tank. And I think it's like one of these things where Kattar can make this fight difficult. If anything, he might make this fight difficult. Like, it could be a back and forth battle. But that's what Arnold Allen would need anyways, right? To go on to that next level. Because I would assume if he's able to like absolutely destroy Calvin Kattar, like, I'm not sure what he's going to do next. But I mean, I guess undefeated in the UFC, defeating a previous contender, I mean, that's got to put you up there somewhere. If not like right in line for the next shot. And so yeah, for me, Calvin Kattar, I think he's gonna light him up. I think he's definitely gonna give him a good test, and he's got some pretty nasty knees as well. It's just a matter if he gets shut down or not, I think. And that's the other thing too, is Kattar sometimes, I think early on, he might be a little bit slow. But like in the previous fight against Emmett, he actually started off pretty decent. Like, I think he was actually winning the opening rounds of the Emmett fight, and then he kind of let that one go. But that's the other thing, is like, let's see, it being a 5-round fight, like, let's see what Kattar's pace is. Like, let's see if he tries to put his stamp on each round, if he tries to finish the fight in each round. And then that's the other thing. I don't think either guy is going to really have to worry about cardio. I would assume Allen's in good enough shape to do 5 rounds. And obviously we've seen Kattar go 5 rounds before. So if anything, like his past 4 fights have all been full 5-round fights. So we all know Kattar's going to be able to win this, hang in there against someone like Allen. So with that being said, I'm very aware that Arnold Allen could just absolutely destroy him, or maybe Kattar's had too much damage or whatever and he gets folded. But I'm hoping that we see someone in Kattar who gives this guy a war, and he's able to, not make it too easy for him, and see what he can do here. Because it's unfortunate for Kattar, man. Like, I feel like after that Max Holloway fight, I think a lot of people just kind of said, like, kind of just shit on him. Like I said, like, Calvin Kattar's kind of done, man. Max Holloway took his soul and all this stuff. So, yeah, I don't think he's done, though. We'll see. I'm going to go Calvin Kattar on this one. Arnold Allen, I expect to be pretty tough. I expect both guys to be pretty tough. Like, you're really going to have to hurt one of these guys to take him out. So, I'm going to go Calvin Kattar to defeat Arnold Allen. And I'm going to actually take him to win by a decision. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Vegas 63 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday. Looking forward to the main card, looking forward to the main event, see what we get, see how the picks do. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments down below. Tell me who you are picking in the main event. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know what? I'll see you guys in the next video.